together. Try to love one another right now.
Welcome to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Kerry Quashin. I am your host. I have a co-host. Bob, introduce yourself.
Hey, Kerry. Bob Sheritz here with Kerry Quashin, and we are Families in Action, brought to you by our hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, and we are very grateful to them. We're also brought to you by Action Family Counseling, which is rehabilitation centers for adolescents and adults. We serve a population of 12 years old and up, and we have residential treatment facilities and intensive outpatient facilities in 3 different counties: Los Angeles, Ventura, and Kern counties. And you know, Kerry, I wish we had more, because there's so many people knocking at our doors, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's off the hook. It's insane, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to somebody this morning on the way here to radio, and we were talking about the prescription drug epidemic, because that's the biggest, largest thing there is right now. And we're going to, as we go on with our show today, we're going to talk about that. But it's off the hook.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about crystal meth and heroin and all those other drugs. The prescription drugs is still number one.
It is. No, you know, it's. I mean, we always see more problems associated with alcohol than any other thing, but prescription medications, prescription drugs are killing so many people.
They're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and more people are going to doctors, and you know what, for good reason at first.
Yeah.
You know, and then it turns into that monster that just kind of creeps out and gets you.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just crazy. This weekend has been one of those weekends. I mean, we didn't have any breathing room. I mean, it just was all night, all day long.
I know we get them. I know we get the calls all week long, and I'm used to it because I'm sitting at work. You know, on the weekends, you know, we still get the calls and we're on call. But I was talking to a guy who's one of the counselors at one of the rehabs, and I asked him, "Do you work on weekends?" And he said, "Yeah, it's just crazy. It's like everybody waits till 5 o'clock on Friday evening and they start calling. You know, I mean, that's not the truth. They call all weekend long.
But you know what's crazy?
But it seems like it, right?
I was watching a show, right, and it was one of those. I don't remember what show it was, but two drug addicts decided, I want to get sober right now. And it was 6 o'clock, and they have no insurance, no money. So they walk into a rehab and say, we need to get in right now. And the guy says, you've been using for 10 years, and you got right now? Right now. Well, but that's what we get all the time.
It's like everything else, right?
We get phone calls at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock in the morning, all day long, with people just waking up and saying, right now.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, sometimes we can do that, but the process might take a little bit longer than that.
Well, and we never ignore a true crisis. I mean, you know, a crisis. You know, I'm in danger right now, and need to get into a place, and we have a means of getting into those emergency services. Yeah. But when we're talking about, you know, like addicts that I want what I want when I want it, right? And I totally get that.
Does addicts do that?
A couple of them.
Even Mindy's left laughing on that one.
So, you know, back to the point is, sometimes I wish we had more, not sometimes, I always wish we had more availability of facilities to place people in, because we get more calls than we can possibly place, you know, and the whole, you know, and it's, anyway.
Well, we do the best we can, and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You know, but it's deadly stuff. I mean, last night, I think 1:30 in the morning, I can look at my phone. I'm putting somebody in a behavioral health unit because they're drunk and they're lying in bed with a gun.
Yeah, making
So the
threats.
choice was, put me somewhere now where I'm going to take this gun and pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And I've been on the phone before with 911 and when somebody had a gun and did pull the trigger.
Right.
So you can never take those things for granted. You have to take it serious.
Absolutely. So Families in Action is brought to you by Action Family Counseling. We also have free support programs in the community, Action Parent Teen Support programs in both English and Spanish speaking, Tuesday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. And we meet in English. The English speaking meets at Canyon High School AA building, again Tuesday, 7 to 9 9 p.m. Hart High School, Spanish-speaking parent-teen support program, 7 to 9 p.m. Meets in the library Tuesday nights. And who needs to be at those things, Gary?
Everybody.
That's
If you have a teenager or you're got a young one that's going to be a teenager soon, you really should come, because we're usually way ahead of anyone when it comes to media or anything on what's going on with kids in this world, especially here in Santa Clarita, because we're right there in the midst of it.
Right, we're working with the kids right now.
We're working with the kids, we're involved with the schools, the police, everyone, so we kind of got a handle on what's going on.
Yep.
So we can help educate you, so you'll know what to beware of or what's happening.
Yeah, it's a great place to find yourself.
It really
no matter
is.
what your situation is, you can get a good education. You can also get some good intervention.
And,
you get
hey,
the
we
help.
have parents that's
Yep.
been there before. They've been right where
Exactly.
you're at, and they've gotten to the other side.
Right.
So that's a great thing. We're going to have to take a break in a minute, but I'm getting text messages and emails from people that are listening to the show. I just got one from Cassidy Cook from Pink Commercial Group, and a great broker up here in Santa Clarita, and she's been helping us a lot. So thank you, Cassidy, for listening to the show. Let's go on break.
All right, this is Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right.
Welcome back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm Kerry Quashett along with my co-host Bob, and we have a guest in here, Mindy. Hi, Mindy.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. It's good to have you back on our
Oh,
show.
thank you. It's great to be here.
So I just want to go over something, and then we're going to talk. And this is what I got, some notes I've took. And it says the number of prescription painkiller overdose deaths increased fivefold among women between 1999 and 2010. Fivefold.
Wow.
Right.
And this is 4 years old, like we were saying on break. The number's even higher.
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, and I think here, when we started tracking, overdoses in Santa Clarita, the highest number was 2011.
Right.
For us, right?
So,
Or 2011,
it was.
2012.
So it's definitely, we're way below where we were last year. Which
it
is,
climbed after 2010,
Which is,
certainly.
yes. While men are more likely to die of a prescription painkiller overdose. Since 1999, the percentage increase in deaths was greater among women, 400% in women compared to 265% in men.
Yeah.
Wow.
So look at the low number, right? 265% for men. So, right? That's huge as it is.
Oh, yeah.
But 400% for women.
And
so
it's gone up even more. Prescription painkiller overdoses killed nearly 48,000 women. 48,000 women between 1999 and 2010.
right.
Wow.
Right. There's another thing that I read in this one of these articles that said that for every woman who dies of a prescription painkiller overdose, 30 of them are admitted to emergency rooms. So there's 30 overdoses for every one that are not fatal, right?
No, yeah.
But still overdoses.
Yeah. Prescription painkiller deaths have skyrocketed in women, 6,600 in 2010.
Right.
4 times as many as died from cocaine and heroin combined.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy, isn't it?
Well, and the thing that's scary about it is that, you go out there, we're out there talking to people in the community, and they still, they think medication and they don't think danger, and we're trying to get the message across that right, is like.
Yeah. I mean, it goes on. It just doesn't stop. About 42 women die every day from a drug overdose. Every day, 42 women lose their lives to a drug overdose. Since 2007, more women have died from drug overdoses than from motor vehicle crashes.
Yeah, that was a big one. When that came out, it came out a little later than that. In the Los Angeles Times, they said that deaths as a result of overdose have overtaken the number of deaths as a result of
for
car
the first time ever.
And it was like, wow, when I saw that, it made an impact on me. But, it's been going on for a little while. It it certainly states to the epidemic that we have. I don't even want to call it a problem anymore.
Well,
right?
Yeah. No, and it goes on and on and on. It kind of contradicts itself because then it says, or 18 women every day, but here it says 42 women die every day.
Well, they're talking drug overdoses versus prescription drug overdoses.
Okay. Yeah, no,
so 18 women a day die as a direct result of painkiller overdoses. Right. And so out of that number 48, with all the other drugs, there's 30 left. That's quite a number on prescription. It's the great majority. And when we talk prescription painkillers specifically, we're talking about things like Vicodin, Norco, Oxycontin, Oxycodone, Opana is another one. We're talking about morphine. We're talking about codeine. Those are all derivatives.
And other drugs. I mean, let's not forget the Soma.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the benzodiazepines.
Xanax, Valium.
You guys know what the most written prescription is in this country?
I know.
Valium or Xanax.
Xanax. Used to be Valium.
Benzos.
Yeah, benzos. Yeah.
More prescriptions are written for benzos than, which is you're right, the Valium, the Xannies, all that stuff, than all other drugs.
Yeah.
And people talk about it. I speak to people, my friends of my family, my parents and stuff, and I hear these women talk about it in such a cavalier manner. They just, I got home, I took a Xanax, I drank a glass of wine, and all I can think in my head is, are you trying to kill yourself?
It's unbelievable. Well, 40-something women die every day. I wonder why.
Something else that people don't realize, you mentioned drinking with prescriptions, is you're not feeling the effects of the alcohol and the prescription separately. When you combine those two substances, they increase the effects of either one. So you don't have to drink even nearly as much if you're combining it with a benzo or some other medication for it to affect you in a manner that can be fatal.
Yeah.
Certainly can be so heavily intoxicating that you shouldn't be driving or even maybe walking. Right? And so dangerous stuff, dangerous stuff. But
and I was at a restaurant the other night, or actually yesterday we were at the Cheesecake Factory, a friend of mine and we were watching people just drinking glasses of wine after wine after wine. Somebody's driving.
Somebody's getting in the car. Yeah. Yep.
And you know what? If you look at a table, there must have been 6 people there. My guess is probably someone's also on some kind of benzo.
Oh yeah.
Statistically speaking,
right? The odds say that.
Statistically speaking.
So we want to know why our car crash. I can go on and on, but I do want to say this too. And we're going to go on break in a minute, but treatment's a lot different today than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
Because always when you were treating somebody with drug addiction, you were thinking crystal meth, you were thinking chronic marijuana, you were thinking chronic alcoholism, you were thinking heroin, cocaine. All that kind of stuff. Now we're treating, obviously, those people, but we're also treating accidental addicts.
Right.
And that's where all this pain medications come in. So when we come back from break, I do want to talk about the accidental addict. How's that?
And how a person gets there,
And how a person wakes up one day and finds himself in that nightmare. Exactly. If you want to participate in this show, you may call at 661-298-5487. 661-298-5487. Let's go on break, Bob.
Yeah, this is Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Are you ready?
Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Welcome back to Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your co-host, Bob Sheritz, here with Carrie Quashen and our special guest, Mindy. Hi, Mindy.
Hi.
I love when you come on our show. It's been about, 6 months or something?
Probably,
Since you're on the show.
I remember when Mindy came on our show the first time.
A while ago when she was...
Maybe I won't say anything about that.
Well, just to put it out there, is I'll tell you that Mindy now works for us, and she works with our adolescents in our intensive outpatient program. And you are one of the finest counselors that I've ever seen in my life. You are awesome at what you do.
He
told me that yesterday.
Oh, you guys are gonna make me cry on the air.
Well, but it's always so cool for us to see. I'm an action kid. I came in when I was 37, but I'm an action kid myself. I came through action however many years ago and stayed. And your story's the same. You came through action and you stayed, and it is so awesome because we get to see the work that we do every day, but when we see somebody who sticks around and turns their life around and gets to help other people like you have done, it's just incredible for us. So
we're really proud to have you here and to know you. Also, I want to say one more thing. I was at what is it? We buy newspapers and went by Western Bagel yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
And a couple of kids ran up to me, and one kid named Billy, and he says, Carrie, thank you. He had 8 months.
Yeah.
And another kid that went through the program said, well, I had some time, I blew it, now I have 8 days, but I'm getting more.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat. So a lot of successes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's constant out here, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. So the reason we brought you on the show today is because you're sort of through, not only your schooling, a thing or two because of your profession, and I don't want to ever undermine that with your experience, but your experience, a thing or two about prescription medications and how far down they can take you. And, we really are highlighting what that can do to women, and how it's sort of, the 400% increase, right? 400% increase.
Destroying lives.
I think more than that. I mean, that's almost 4-year-old. The new statistics haven't came yet, and we know that it's a whole lot worse now than it was 4 years ago.
Well, and for us, the years after that statistic was taken through 2010, and for Santa Clarita, which is the same everywhere. I mean, it's a good cross section, right? Is 2011 and 12 were horrible years in terms of addiction and deaths for us, as a community. So
it was really horrible.
Yep.
So why don't you kind of dive in this deal with us and because we were talking about accidental drug addictions and we wake up one day and our world's upside down. You go from there.
Well, the first time I experienced prescription pain medication, I was about 15. I had to have my appendix out, and of course you're in a lot of pain after the surgery, and appendix, you can hardly walk around, right? And about 10 days after the surgery, I still had some Vicodin, and I remember one day taking it and feeling this rush and this feeling of calm, and everything was okay, and that miraculous sense of euphoria that Vicodin just provides, and thinking, wow, this is pretty great. Before that, I had what I considered normal teenage stuff, smoke pot here and there, drink here and there, and I thought it was all right. As time passed, having to have many more surgeries after that, and constantly being in and out of the hospital, here's your pain meds, here's your prescription, take this, relax for a couple days, take your medication, deal with the pain. That was all that they would do. It became very frustrating because it seemed like that was the only answer I was being given. Take this pain medication, treat the pain, go home.
And there's a huge push right now.
Yes.
In all hospitals and all doctors for people not to feel pain.
Exactly.
Pain management is the first thing in any hospital.
Absolutely.
We don't want people feeling pain.
Yeah.
So the first question is, are you in any pain? And then they give you a scale.
1 to 10. How bad your pain?
Where are you? And then boom, you're on these pain meds. Yeah.
Give you a nice shot.
And you can't blame them for that because reality is we don't want people to hurt. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
and remember
scary.
one thing, you can't see pain.
Right.
So when somebody comes in and
no
says,
test for that, really. Yeah.
Yep. Well, but it certainly does state the ease with which people can, these medications are accessible, because I could go in right now and say, oh my God, I get this horrible whatever pain.
Of course.
And I'm going to rate, and let me rate it for you and give you an 8 or something, right? And I could just be drug seeking, which doesn't mean that people in pain are drug seeking. I'm not saying
no, but there are many that do. It's just like I was talking to someone the other day. We had a joke, and I'm sorry to take you off of this, but I'm going to come back to you. He says, oh yeah, I can smoke my marijuana. I have a medical card that states it's medicine. I said, and I can go get a prescription of oxycodone tomorrow, and does that mean I need it? No.
Yeah, right.
So it's a joke, but pain meds, it's simple to fall into that trap.
It is.
What do you want to do? Peter, you want us to go on break, or you want us to keep going? He wants us to go on break, Bob.
Okay, we want to hear more about Mindy's tale as we come back after this break. This is Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Welcome back to Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about the prescription pain medication epidemic in the United States.
Let's go over the statistics again a little bit here, Bob.
And we're specifically talking about the increases in the number of women. And there were some studies that were done between 2007 and 2010, and between that time, the increase in number of women was 400%, and we're talking about number of women who have overdosed as a result of
just prescription opiates, just those 18 women a day die.
Yeah, just from prescription
40 something from all drugs, but prescription drugs, 18 deaths a day.
6,600 women died in 2010 as a result of prescription pain overdoses. Some of them, probably a great majority of them accidental.
Oh, yeah.
And Mindy, you can talk about what happens there.
I actually believe that most of them are accidental.
Most of them are.
And you said something earlier I just want to comment on. You said, when I was a teenager, I did the normal stuff.
Yeah.
I played with a little bit of alcohol. I played with a little bit of pot. Alcohol and drugs are the first contracts we break.
Yeah.
First we say, I'm never going to smoke cigarettes. We light up a cigarette. Then we say, it's only a cigarette. I'm not going to drink tequila or hard liquor, and we do. Then we say, I'm not going to smoke weed, and we do. Then we say, I'm not going to use hard drugs.
Yeah.
All those other hard drugs are what I call drugs of opportunity. Mm-hmm. They're out there lingering and waiting for us.
Well, and I never considered prescription drugs, like we were kind of talking about before the show. I never considered prescription drugs a hard drug or a drug at all.
It was
exactly
where I was
the
going.
medicine. It's my medication. Right? I need this. I'm in pain. Right. I have to take this to feel better.
Right.
And I think that's where my thinking sort of took me down such this dark area.
I'll tell you, I picked up on something else when you were talking earlier too. Is you talked about the feeling that you got when you took them, right? You said this euphoric feeling, and as you were saying, I'm thinking not everybody responds to those medications in that manner right there. Most of them go, I take a few, the pain goes away, I'm good to go.
Yeah, or they take them and they feel like crap. They don't want to take them anymore.
Right, they have an adverse reaction, but
that's those contracts we were talking about. Yeah, you can play with a little bit of booze. Yeah, you can play with a little bit of weed. Yeah, you might even be able to do crystal meth once, but then you find that magical whatever it is. If it's Vicodin, if it's benzos, if it's tequila, whatever it is. Once you get that feeling, you said, "Whoa, we're in big trouble."
Yes.
Yep.
The love affair begins, I suppose.
So now, just to get you where you were in your story previously, now you're taking the pain medications and they're making you feel good and euphoric, and you got that hook, right?
Yes.
It's like,
we just talked about the love affair that began.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you still got the legitimate pain issues. So
I did at that point.
What a struggle, right?
Yes. At that point when it started to cross over from I only would take them when I absolutely needed them. I wouldn't take them during the day. I wouldn't take them if my pain was below a certain pain level.
Right. There's that scale again.
Right, that scale again, and I knew so well from being in the emergency room, 50 times in 3 years.
Right.
I crossed the line, and I even specifically remember when it happened. I was in a relationship. I was engaged to be married. My fiance at the time was in boot camp for the Marine Corps. He was gone. I was working crazy hours. I was living in the San Fernando Valley, and I needed to get some stuff done around the house, and I had no energy because I was working in sales. I had worked probably 16 hours that day, and I got home, and I didn't really have any pain, but I remember opening the medicine cabinet and seeing the bottle there and the prescription, and I took one, and I remember taking it because I wanted to feel better, right?
Instant stress
And get
relief,
that, feeling better, and it gave me the energy, strangely enough, an opiate, which
And
most
you got
people
the
put
before you even felt the pill.
Exactly. Before I even took the pill, I
Right.
saw it, and the already starts to happen. And I took it, and for
That's-
no other
what do
reason
you
than
call
I
that?
wanted to feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what you call that?
What the awe?
Yeah.
Well, I know physiologically what it is. It's the
Yeah.
dopamine, but
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a thing that a lot of people don't understand about addiction is that a big piece of it is the chemical that you put in your system, but an even bigger piece of it is the ritual and the
Yes.
and the knowing what it's going to do to
Yes.
you, and the going
Yes.
to get more, and the how can I get away with it, and all of that stuff that goes along with it.
Yes.
And I can be in exactly the same place that you're at, and I open that medicine cabinet. I don't even have to take. Well, of course I have to take the drug, but before I even take the drug, I put my hand on that pill bottle,
Yeah.
and my whole body goes, right?
Yeah.
And people need to understand that so they can understand a little bit more.
And
about
I'll tell you,
addiction.
I've been dealing with people forever now, and you know what people miss even more than the drug is the ritual.
The ritual.
Right.
Definitely.
The people I'm
For
hanging
me,
with, the
yeah.
places
Right.
I'm going, the stuff that I'm
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah.
It's the whole lifestyle.
Yeah, there's definitely an aspect of, I said the love affair begins later as the prescription medication got worse. My family found out, my husband found out, I was sent into rehab and stuff like that. And after that, the prescriptions, after my first
So let
stint
me,
in
let me
rehab.
ask you a question.
Yeah.
It says take one every 4 hours.
Oh, no, that's not how that works.
How does it work?
Not for Mindy.
Not for me.
How does it work?
It's more like, depending on how much money I have and how many I can buy, it's more like 4 or 6 every hour, 45 minutes.
How many do you think you were ending up taking a day?
Towards the end, I was buying the smaller OxyContins, like the 10 milligram OxyContin pills.
Right.
I would take probably about 6 or 7 of those at a time, probably up to 8 to 10 times a day.
So you're talking almost 60, 50 pills?
I could in a day, yes, at
Right.
my
And-
highest
and,
point.
And I believe that, wouldn't that normally kill most people though?
Yes.
Well, of course it would, and that's
Yes.
that's where I was kind of going earlier. Is
Right.
we build up that tolerance, and that's
definitely.
why almost all those deaths are accidental because your body doesn't know that your brain's going, give me more, give me more, give me
Depends
more.
on when you ate last, what
Yeah.
you ate,
Yep.
when you slept, the weather,
And
when
at
you
some
went to
point-
the bathroom, all
right?
those things are in effect.
Definitely.
And at some point, your body says, "I'm not doing this anymore."
Yeah.
It's building in
Yeah.
your
Done,
system.
and it
Yeah.
starts to shut down.
And,
Yeah.
and that's exactly where I was going. All these 18 prescription deaths a day,
Yep.
which is higher now, accidental.
Yeah,
Yep.
We think we can do it. Our body
Definitely.
can handle this stuff.
definitely.
And at the end of the day, we go to funerals.
Well, and something else you said before. I know we're going to go on break real soon, and maybe we'll talk about this when we come back.
If not,
What-
Peter's going to have a stroke.
a heart
over there.
attack or something over there. So what I heard you say too is that depending on how many I could buy. So at this point, we're not
No,
getting doctor's prescriptions anymore, right?
I was still
Yeah.
getting doctor's prescriptions, but I was buying on top of that.
Yeah,
Yes,
of course,
yes.
of course.
Let's get to
So-
that when we come back from break. What do you think?
All right, this is Families in Action, brought to you by your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Welcome back to Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. And listen to this. There were more than 4 times more deaths amongst women from prescription pain medications than cocaine and all other drugs.
Yeah.
So 4 times more women lose their lives to pain medications than cocaine, heroin, and all that stuff. 4 times more.
Yep. And we really, we do shows like this, and we talk about it in the community, and we try to raise awareness because we need people to realize this. Is your head automatically goes to, I know heroin's dangerous, I know cocaine's dangerous, right? But we need people to understand
what
this too.
Mindy said a minute ago is the scariest part. is I didn't think that the pain medications were drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't look at them like that.
Yeah.
And Mindy, next thing you know, you're out, buying them off the streets or wherever. I don't
Yeah.
know. You know.
Well, because you build up this tolerance, like you
Yes.
said. Your prescription bottle, my guess is, when they give you a big amount, is for 90,
Yeah.
and you taking 30 plus a day.
Yeah. That
They're
goes
done in
fast.
3 days,
Yeah.
4 days, maybe 5.
If I'm lucky.
And then what do you do?
Then you resort to whatever means necessary. At that time, I had a couple friends that I would use with a lot, trade stuff and help, hey, I'm short today, can you help me out, throw me a couple. One of them actually ended up passing away from an overdose. He was 26 years old at the time, lived next door to me since I was 6 years old. I came home from work one Saturday and the coroner's truck was leaving his house.
Horrible.
After that, I started to use even more, though.
I was going to say, did that slow you down or
Even
speed
more.
you up?
It sent me to the moon. He passed away, and I couldn't handle it. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life at that time. An old friend had passed away. My husband and all his friends that were my whole world, they all left to go to Iraq. I had a miscarriage because we were trying to have kids, which was extremely painful also, so more pain medication. I was having to live with my parents again. There was turmoil in the household, stuff going on with the family, so it was just this constant bombardment of, let's see what else we can throw on top of you.
Right.
And I had no way to deal with any of it,
And more people use because of stress.
Yes.
Than anything else.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, that's the key to addiction is it's all stress related.
It's like you said, you open up the medicine cabinet, you see the pills, you touch the bottle,
Yeah.
and that's
Stress
that
relief.
instant
Just-
relief
Yeah.
already.
Washes over you. Oh, I can take this, and I know how great I'll feel.
So, when I met you, you were doing, you had branched outside of the world
Yes.
of prescription pain medication.
Very much so.
And at some point, we almost have to go for illicit drugs.
Yes,
Not that.
it doesn't work anymore, and it becomes so expensive to buy OxyContin all the time.
What do those pills cost now?
When I was buying them, because I was buying the smaller
Well,
ones,
you've been sober
they
now
were
for how long?
2 years now.
So hey, good, yay!
And the pills were about $5 or $6 a piece.
Right.
So when you're taking 30 of them a day, that's
Do the math.
a habit.
Not cheap.
I went to rehab the first time, and when I got out, I was like, I can't do the pills anymore. But I had a girlfriend that I had gotten sober with the first time, and she was a heroin addict. I knew how much I would like it. I knew instantly that was where I was going to go. I didn't what I consider screw around with it, and I went straight for the needle. The first time I did heroin, I used a needle.
You weren't playing.
No. I wanted it. I knew what I wanted. I wanted it right now because it was what I wanted.
I wanted it. What did you want?
I wanted the heroin. I wanted the rush. I wanted the feel. I didn't want to feel anything. And that's, when you're doing heroin, why not do everything
But
else?
Bob, how many heroin addicts do we treat every day?
Yeah,
that
lots.
come in
Yeah, lots.
and started with.
Prescriptions.
Yeah, Well, I've never met a heroin addict in my life who didn't start
No.
with either alcohol or
Of course.
marijuana
But it's-
originally,
but
but
it's
they
one of
got
those kind of things.
Yeah.
I'll never, ever do it, and then everybody's telling you, hey,
Yeah.
you don't have to go to doctor shopping.
It's
Yeah.
a whole lot cheaper.
It's a whole lot
lot cheaper.
First.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, right.
and now, you jumped into the needle, but what everybody else is doing is they're saying you don't even have to shoot it. You're not
You can
even
just
adult.
smoke it,
Smoke it,
Just
or you can
smoke
just
it.
snort it, or I knew from experience in the hospital and getting intravenous shots of Dilaudid and morphine and stuff like that I didn't want the delayed effect, I guess, of trying to smoke it.
You were really, you have that addictive personality.
Oh, it was-
period, end of subject.
I had to have it right then, and I needed it.
And it's not a maybe, is it?
No, it's a definitely. There's no question. Don't even try to argue with me about it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, if the only dope was about 20 minutes away and it was the last in the city and somebody says you got 10 minutes to get there,
I'd be there in 5.
yeah, you'd have got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think the reason that you're sober today is because you put that same type of effort into your recovery as well.
Definitely.
I was going to ask that, Bob. What happened?
definitely.
What happened? You got 2 years sober. You got your counseling deal.
I
You're
do.
working with us. What happened?
I was living on the street. I couldn't do it anymore. I was doing so much heroin that it was literally coming out of my skin. I have scars on my legs and my chest from where the heroin would try to come out my skin, and it created these like sores. Are really the only thing I can call it. I was horribly disgusting looking, and I couldn't do it anymore.
We'll hear more about that when we come back from break. This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody gets
Welcome back to Families in Action. Hey, Mindy.
Hey.
Can't do it anymore.
I couldn't do it anymore. At that point, I like I said, I was living on the street. I couldn't do it anymore. I had no hustle left, I guess you could say.
You got beat down.
It's tiring.
Completely, it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
tiring.
It was all I ever did, and I'm smarter than that.
Yeah,
and
you wake up in the morning and as you're walking to the restroom, you're trying to figure out where you're going to get your
what's
milk.
gonna happen to
even
that?
if I had a restroom to use,
Right.
And the ritual behind it, where am I going to be, how am I going to do it, so much revolved around the getting and using and staying high, and I couldn't do it anymore. Fortunately, I had health insurance, so I made some phone calls, talked to my mom. They were going to let me go and try one more time, and I went to detox, and after I left detox, I met who I thought was a very mean man over the phone by the name of Bob Sheritz.
Mean. Don't forget it.
Didn't realize that he was going to
Very
save
mean.
my life. And I came to action. I did relapse the first weekend I was there. I had a very fun weekend of stealing my dad's truck.
Wasn't fun for us. And
It
your
wasn't
parents.
fun for you guys or my parents.
Remember when you called me about that?
Yeah. And like Bob said, the other illicit drugs, but the other big one for me was crack cocaine, which isn't something people expect when I tell them that I'm, also a crack addict. And something happened that weekend. I lost everything and every part of who I was. My dad had to physically restrain me at one point because I was going insane. I was losing it. And at that point, something clicked for me, and I've never gone back. I threw myself into action. I was at every session. My family was there, every family group. I did whatever was required, every assignment, anything that these guys asked of me to do, I was going to do it, because I couldn't go back to what I was doing before, because it was either do it wholeheartedly with everything I had or die.
Yeah. There was no going back.
There was no other choice. And that was 2 years ago and 2 weeks ago.
Now you work for us.
And now I work for you
and
guys.
You save other people too.
And,
You're
yeah.
the one that people say, yeah, when I made that first phone call and Mindy answered, boy, she was
Mean
And I hated her.
Mean Mindy. Right?
What do you want? You want to say anything to anyone, your family, or anybody? Because they're probably
absolutely.
listening.
To my family, how much I love and appreciate them. And I hope that, in the years to come, I can give back to them as much as that they've given to me.
I'll tell you one thing. They go to bed at night and they got to be proud of you, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I heard somebody say that one time is just because you're sober, there are at least 10 people that are breathing easier, sleeping better,
That's
eating
right.
better,
Definitely.
just because you're sober today.
Definitely.
And that was a
Because.
big statement, man. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
So what do we say about prescription pills and playing around with pot and all that?
Please
when we're
tread
young?
lightly.
Yeah.
I know there's those times when you're in so much pain, and I so feel for those people. It's the worst thing. I still have pain issues to this day, but I don't take pain medication.
Bob, you always say the same thing, and I was talking to someone earlier about it. Pain medication actually tricks you
It does.
Yeah, it does.
We'll say it.
Well, there's been a lot of studies, but what happens is the withdrawal from when you're addicted to a pain medication, as basic as I can say it is, the withdrawal from that is pain.
Right.
And so your body actually, your brain will do this thing where if you're an addict and it becomes the most important thing in your life, your brain will trick you into being in more pain than you actually are,
Yeah.
which doesn't mean you don't feel it.
Yeah.
It means you feel it as much.
You feel it.
So that it can get the medication.
But we help detox people every day. Then when they start coming off of all that craziness, they're saying, wow, I feel better taking
Yeah.
2 Advil than I did taking
right.
6 Vicodin.
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part about recovery from pain medication is that you have to get off of those medications to see where your pain level is.
Is.
To begin,
Exactly. You can't judge it until you're off. But what we do want to say is, if you're thinking, if you have a problem, if you're thinking about stopping, call us first.
Please.
Yeah, don't try to do it on your own.
or
Yeah.
297-8691. Don't try to do it on your own. There's medical issues that can pop up.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you do this nice
Please.
and safe.
Please ask for the help.
And there are many, many great doctors out there who know enough about addiction, who prescribe pain medication, that know the delicate balance between pain issues and addiction. And there's a lot of good help out there. Call us. We can help you get to those doctors.
Right.
We can help you get the help
And it's
that
like
you
the old
need.
care unit says, if you don't call us, call somebody.
Call somebody,
Absolutely.
right? Absolutely.
Exactly. The back of your insurance card. What's next? Alex Urbina.
Alex Urbina's Life Leadership. You do not want to miss the next show. It is incredible. Thanks, Mindy. Thanks,
Thank you,
Carrie.
guys.
Yeah. And hey, what about Peter?
Peter.
I guess.
Well,
Thanks.
well,
that's
Thanks,
why-
Peter.
Thanks,
We
Peter.
would
He's our
not be able
board
to do
op.
that without Peter. So, hey, Peter, thanks for all you do. We very much appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, Peter, you got it.
Yes.
You got it. Peter Urbina, Life Leadership
Peter
next.
Urbina.
How did I say it wrong? Oh my God, it's one of them. Sorry, Pete. Oh,
Alex.
Sorry, Alex. I said Peter. That's right. And Mindy, thanks
Yes.
for
Thanks,
for
Mindy.
everything
You're awesome.
you do and being part of our world.
Thank you, guys.
This is Families in Action on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.